Whoever doesn't control their emotions will be controlled by others. There are moments when silence is stronger than any word. And there are also moments when an uncontrolled impulse can destroy years of wisdom built in silence. Machiavelli didn't write for dreamers. He wrote for those who wanted to understand the world as it is, complex, selfish, unpredictable. In The Prince, he doesn't talk about how things should be, but about how they really work. And in that real world, there's an uncomfortable truth that many prefer to ignore. Emotions, if not mastered, become weapons that others can use against you. Anger makes you predictable. Pride makes you vulnerable. The need to be right makes you weak. Not because you feel, but because you don't know when to stay silent and when to act. The first step toward self-mastery isn't denying what you feel. It's learning to observe your emotion without turning it into an immediate reaction. Because whoever governs their interior has already won half the battle. Self-control, clarity, inner serenity. But here comes something that will change your perspective forever. Machiavelli understood something that many still ignore. You're not stronger for shouting. You're stronger when you choose not to, even though you could. True power isn't shown with noise, it's perceived in silence, in that sacred space between what you feel and what you do. In the pause that exists before exploding, when you decide not to. The strategic mind doesn't react on impulse. It calculates, it observes, it decides. And if there's something you must remember today, it's this. Not all provocations deserve a response. Not all attacks require defense. Sometimes the greatest act of strength is simply not moving. Because when you choose to respond with calm, you disarm the aggressor without needing to fight. Breathe, observe, decide. That's the attitude of the true strategist. That's the mindset that separates the leader from the follower, the one who dominates from the one who is dominated. I'm ready, I'm calm, I'm the master of myself. Now let me show you something most people misinterpret. Many believe coldness is lack of heart, but Machiavelli saw it completely differently. Well-trained coldness isn't absence of emotion, it's strategic, emotional protection. It's having an invisible shield against the chaos of others. When someone hurts you, it's not always out of malice. Sometimes it's out of self-interest, sometimes out of fear, sometimes out of simple indifference. And understanding that changes absolutely everything, because you no longer take the offense as something personal. You see it for what it really is, someone else's reaction, not a reflection of your worth. And when you can look with that clarity, you free yourself. Nothing that comes from outside can define what you are inside. Self-knowledge, wisdom, deep calm. Listen to this carefully. Machiavelli said something brutal but real. Men forget the death of their father sooner than the loss of their patrimony. It may seem cruel, but it's absolutely real. We live in a world where interests often weigh more than affections, where betrayal isn't always out of hatred, but out of convenience. Accepting this doesn't mean hardening your heart. It means sharpening your mind. Because when you understand that not everyone has your code of honor, you stop expecting the impossible. And by stopping expecting, you also stop suffering because of it. Don't expect loyalty from someone who isn't even loyal to themselves. Don't wear yourself out expecting empathy from someone who only seeks their own comfort. Observe with clarity, learn from each experience, and choose wisely who's really worth sharing your emotional energy with. Knowledge gives you distance, and distance gives you peace. Thank you for the clarity. I'm awake. But this isn't about becoming insensitive. It's about strengthening yourself from within, about breathing when others shout, about maintaining firmness when everything around you trembles. Machiavelli taught that simulation and dissimulation were weapons of the wise. Not to deceive, but to protect yourself. Not to lie, but to not expose yourself completely to just anyone. Showing everything you feel is like handing over a detailed map of your weak points. And that, in a strategic world, is dangerous. Learn to keep strategic silence, to smile with intention, to observe without showing all your cards. Because when nobody knows exactly what moves you, nobody can control you. Silence isn't weakness, it's absolute mastery. Thank you. I'm learning to see with different eyes. Now comes the most important part. Every time you lose control, you're giving away power. Every time you react without thinking, you're weakening yourself in the eyes of those watching you. It's not about repressing what you feel. It's about choosing the right moment to act. When someone betrays you, you can scream, you can cry, you can explode, or you can simply take mental note. This is who this person is, and that's enough. There's no need to dramatize. The wise person isn't surprised when fire burns. They anticipate it. It's not about senseless emotional coldness. It's about strategic pause, about stopping yourself just before exploding and asking yourself honestly, is it really worth it? Do I want to react on impulse, or do I prefer to decide with clarity? Conscious decision will always be infinitely stronger than blind impulse. Self-mastery, mental clarity, inner power. And here's the key that liberates. People don't act against you. They act in favor of themselves. And you were just in their way. That hurts, yes, but it also deeply liberates. Because if it wasn't against you personally, you don't have to carry it as if it were. When you stop taking everything personally, you start moving with greater lightness through life. You're no longer trapped in destructive emotion. You're observing the game from outside. And from there, you always see better. You always understand more. Because the one who observes with calm always sees more than the one who reacts with blind rage. I'm not what others make me feel. I'm what I choose to do with that. Thank you. I'm taking control of my life. Machiavelli insisted on something fundamental. The true strategist appears virtuous in public, but saves their hardness for when they really need it. It's not about falsehood. It's about refined emotional intelligence, about knowing what to show, when to show it, and to whom. There are things that should only live inside you. Not everyone deserves to know your deepest truth, your pain, your rage, your hope. They're sacred seeds that shouldn't be planted in just any soil. Choose carefully where and with whom you share your inner world. Because showing everything to everyone is exposing yourself completely. Protecting what you feel is also a profound act of self-love, self-knowledge, self-respect, emotional wisdom. When someone intentionally provokes you, breathe, not just to calm yourself, but to gain strategic time. Breathe like someone who already understood they're not obligated to respond to every stimulus. Breathe like someone who already decided that nobody will disturb their center. Calm isn't passivity, it's precision. Silence isn't submission, it's pure strategy. Whoever masters their reactions has absolute control of the board, even though in others' eyes it may seem they're losing. Because while others spend all their energy proving who's right, you conserve yours to transform your reality. Where there's conscious pause, there's real power. Thank you for this moment of deep clarity. Listen to this. You don't need immediate revenge. You don't need to prove anything to anyone right now. Because whoever has true power doesn't shout it to the four winds. They demonstrate it when it's absolutely necessary. Machiavelli warned with wisdom, don't confront the enemy until you have all the advantages in your favor. That's not cowardice, it's pure strategic wisdom. The one who rushes without thinking falls. The one who waits with patience builds. And when the right moment finally arrives, a single calculated action is enough to change everything. Without uncontrolled rage, without unnecessary noise, without need for external applause. Real power isn't seen coming, it's only felt when it finally arrives. I'm ready. I'm stronger than I imagined. Don't confuse impulse with strategy. Don't confuse noise with true power. Authentic power is serene. It doesn't impose itself by force. It sustains itself through presence. Machiavelli knew that many fail because they react before thinking. because they act from pure emotion and not from strategic mind. And that makes them completely predictable. But you're not that. You consciously choose when to move. You choose how to respond. And that conscious choice makes you truly free. While the world demands instant justice, you patiently prepare the stage where everyone will reveal their true nature. I don't run. I don't react on impulse. I wait and observe with clarity, ancient wisdom, strategic coldness, absolute emotional control. Every time someone shouts without control, something inside them is deeply broken. But you don't have to break with them. You can look in silence, breathe deeply, and decide with firmness. I don't enter this emotional war, not out of fear, not out of indifference, but because you consciously chose another level of existence. The emotional war is won by whoever doesn't throw themselves in without thinking, who strategically chooses when, how, and if it's really worth fighting. And in that instant of conscious decision, you're no longer part of the chaos. You're the one observing from the summit, with clarity, with coldness, with unshakable firmness. Whoever doesn't need to react to everything already has control of everything. Thank you for the perspective. I'm learning to let go of what doesn't serve me. When others let themselves be completely carried away by fury, you choose mental clarity. When they demand immediate justice without thinking, you design lasting advantage. It's not about staying silent always. It's about strategically choosing when your voice has more real impact. Because not all battles are worth the same, and not everyone deserves your precious energy. Keeping strategic silence isn't weakness, it's building power in the shadows. A power that doesn't need witnesses to be deeply felt. I prefer the silence that transforms lives to the rage that only wears down the soul. Iron self-discipline, emotional intelligence, inner strategy, Machiavelli said with clarity. The true master doesn't react on impulse. They calculate every move. They don't move from blind emotion. They don't respond from wounded pride. They act only when everything is in their favor. And you can do exactly the same. Let the other believe they won. Let them relax completely. Let them lower all their guard. And right there, in that moment of false victory, you observe with attention. You evaluate with coldness. You understand with depth. Not to destructively revenge yourself, but to decide from wisdom, from the absolute freedom that only true self-control allows you to reach. Today, I choose to see with clarity, not attack on impulse, to understand deeply, not explode senselessly. Thank you for this reminder of inner power. Now understand this. Emotional coldness isn't cruel insensitivity. It's intelligent protection. It's knowing how to jealously guard what's most valuable inside you, your inner peace, your mental clarity, your vital energy. When others want to intentionally provoke you, you choose to breathe with awareness. When others want to drag you into their personal chaos, you choose to maintain your unshakable center. Because you already understood something absolutely vital. Your emotional energy is limited and precious, and you're not going to waste it proving anything to anyone who doesn't deserve it. Your sacred center isn't within reach of just anyone, and that conscious decision completely transforms you. I'm ready to care for my energy as my greatest treasure. Deep self-awareness, lasting inner peace, sincere gratitude. You decide who deserves real access to your emotional world. Not just anyone should have that sacred privilege. Is it worth getting upset over someone who doesn't even respect their own life? Does it make sense to get deeply disturbed by the actions of people who don't know your values or your internal battles? The answer is absolutely no. Your energy isn't for everyone, because when you give emotional power to someone completely irrelevant, you become a voluntary prisoner of their chaos. And that's not fair to you. It's not fair to everything you've built. Not everyone deserves a reaction from you. Not everyone deserves even a word from your mouth. Machiavelli knew this perfectly. The true leader observes in strategic silence, selects with wisdom, and acts only when it's really worth it. Consciously choosing who you listen to is protecting your soul. I'm ready. I'm learning to guard what's sacred. Giving access to your emotional world is like opening the doors of your house. If you don't strategically care who enters, they'll dirty it completely. There are people who only seek to project their own frustrations, who arrive with feet full of mud and step on everything you've built with so much effort. They don't necessarily do it out of direct malice. They do it because they simply don't know how to live any other way. But you do know. And that's why now you install invisible but effective filters. You observe with deep attention, you listen with strategic distance, and you choose with absolute clarity. It's not arrogance. It's intelligent self-protection. Like the wise strategist who doesn't throw themselves into any senseless battle, you don't enter any emotional war they propose. Consciously filtering is also a profound act of self-love. Thank you for the wisdom. I'm growing in silence. Machiavelli spoke of another absolutely vital principle, self-control as a visible symbol of superiority. While the entire world shouts without control, you keep strategic silence. While others get disturbed by anything, you sustain unshakable calm that projects something very few achieve in life, real emotional authority. They don't respect you out of fear. They respect you because they simply don't know how to break you. Because there's something deep in you that doesn't move with the wind, something solid that doesn't respond to the first spark, something firm that doesn't bend before others' drama, and that naturally imposes, not through violence, but through inner firmness, because whoever completely masters their emotions already masters their entire world. Today, I choose to be unshakable rock, not leaf in the wind. Deep root, not passing shadow, absolute self-control, strategic silence, unstoppable inner strength. So let me ask you something important. Are you ready to stop reacting like someone common and start acting like a true strategist of your own life? It won't be easy. There will be constant provocations. There will be difficult days when you'll want to scream with all your strength, but there will also be powerful moments when you'll remember exactly this message and you'll consciously decide to save your energy. Breathe deeply before speaking. Observe with clarity before judging. Act only when it's the strategically correct moment. And every time you do it, you'll be closer to your true self, further from external chaos, deeper in your unshakable center. Because true power never starts outside. It always starts from within. I'm ready to take absolute control of my inner world. Deep thanks, sincere gratitude, lasting calm, life strategy. So if you made it this far, you're no longer the same person who started this video. Something deep inside you ignited. A new decision, a completely different perspective. Machiavelli didn't speak for the weak of heart. He spoke for those who really want to understand how the human soul moves when power, emotion, and strategy intersect. And today you've seen what many will never see. You've consciously chosen not to react on impulse. You've chosen to transform yourself from within. You've chosen to grow from the center, from deep calm, from your true self. Because strategic coldness isn't coldness of heart. It's absolute mastery of yourself. And that mastery is true freedom. I'm ready to live with clear intention, deep strategy, and ancient wisdom. Deep gratitude for this knowledge. Silent power that transforms. Real freedom that liberates.